So I went to a Cambridge City Council meeting on Wednesday night that was focused on building energy efficiency in Cambridge. And Joe Higgins from MIT presented. So I thought I would give a little background into Joe. I think of him as the new Israel Ruiz. Let's see if I can make my case. So in 2019, Higgins was named Vice President for Campus Services and Stewardship. And whenever you see Steve Bratt from the MIT News Office, he's the head of the news office. And whenever the truth needs to be massaged in the direction of fossil fuels, you will see his name. So let's see if he's worked his magic. Director of Campus Operations Joe Higgins has been named Vice President for Campus Services and Stewardship, effective November 1st. In this new role, Higgins will oversee the Office of Sustainability, Environment, Health and Safety, the Office of Campus Planning, and MIT facilities, including campus construction. So that's a lot of responsibility. Executive Vice President and Treasurer Israel Ruiz announced the appointment today in an email. So all of that power, there wasn't any vote. It was Israel Ruiz's decision and presumably Raphael Reip's, and it's off to the races. So a little bit of history. Higgins' new role comes as part of a reorganization to reassign the responsibilities of Deputy Executive Vice President Tony Sharon, who is retiring at the end of the calendar year. So here's where it starts to get fishy, and you sense the inimitable touch of our friend Mr. Brandt. I am excited to build upon the strength and momentum created by Tony, Higgins says. We are fortunate, etc., etc. So he's replacing Tony Sharon. So here's MIT's senior leadership page. Here's the new Israel Ruiz. Here's Joe. So it looks kind of like he's in there, and so what? Over here, you get a much more vivid sense of something. So here's the new Israel Ruiz, Glenn Shore, and Joe Higgins is below him, and all of these people report to Joe Higgins. So this is a staggering level of power for anyone. It's staggering for Glenn Shore, but the idea that it's also going to Joe Higgins, this is new. So just consider environmental safety, Office of Sustainability, campus planning, campus construction, campus services, facilities engineering, utilities, infrastructure. Reporting Joe Higgins, Glenn Shore directly. So that's staggering, and that isn't what Tony Sharon was doing. So let's go back. So I'll get to this, but be prepared for the staggering power that Israel Ruiz had. So this is from August 2019. So he left in January 2020. So this is the peak of his power. So this is more accurate. So here's Tony Sharon over here. Here's Israel Ruiz over here. And here's Joe Higgins. So he's not directly below Israel Ruiz having these people report to him. He's over here, as you would expect for someone who's primarily dealing with money. He's not making decisions. He's contributing, and none of these people report to him. So here's another one. This is from May 2017. So these are all the people that now report to. This one here is Joe Higgins, and above that is Glenn. So there's no Tony Sharon in this. Joe Higgins is over here. So let's go back to that news story and see if we can see what's going on. Spoiler alert, I can tell you exactly what's going on. So November 1st, 2019. Higgins' new role comes as part of a reorganization to resign the responsibilities of Deputy Executive Vice President Tony Sharon, who is retiring at the end of the year. So in November 2019, well, wouldn't you know that that was the peak of the Jeffrey Epstein investigation? And in a month, they're going to release the report. And a week before they release the report, Israel Ruiz is going to resign. So what's actually happening here is Israel Ruiz is moving a lieutenant in place to take his place to manage Kendall Square and MIT real estate. It's not a, well, it's almost a coup. It's definitely an undiscussed major movement in something new. So that's the power that Joe Higgins has. And that's what's being massaged with Steve Brandt in this emphasis on Tony Sharon. This has nothing to do with replacing Tony Sharon. This is preparing for Israel Ruiz's exit. So in my next screencast, I'll talk about what is so important that they need to hold on to power in this way.